Live streaming
Oh boy.
and recording on this Wednesday morning here with Bob Tassone, Port Financial.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing better.
Hey, we got a nice hot day again here. We're coming into September of 2023, and we're wrapping up the third quarter of September. Third quarter of 2023. Where did the summer go? Right. Well, it's kind of still lingering around. It's still pretty hot out there.
I wish I would get out of here.
I know. I want some nice.
Please, please.
We had a taste of some cooler weather with nice lower humidities, and that was really super nice last week. And it's just gonna be a little bit hot the next couple of days. I'm sure it'll cool off.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll be longing for longer hot days again. I hate the cold weather, but here.
Yeah, and of course they say it's going to be a very cold winter, and
No, we didn't get any snow last year. Maybe we'll get some. Maybe we'll get some snow or something this year. Which
squirrels are receiving extra acorns or something.
There you go. Anytime we have weather events, you got insurance claims and who knows what else. So I mean, there's all kinds.
Yeah, we got a hurricane spinning out there right now. His name is Lee.
Hurricane Lee. We just had one that came through Florida last week. There's everything is a risk, right? We talk about that on these calls. Life is full of risk. You can't wake up in the morning and not do something risky at some point in time in your day. It might be the food that you take out of your refrigerator. Maybe you left it in there too long and who knows what it is, right? I mean, you might have a risk. You might have sour milk in your refrigerator.
Well, there was a real risk of just having a salad a couple years ago. The lettuce was bad.
Things that we think are safe are not always the safest things in the world.
So people were saying, your mom used to tell you to eat your greens and stuff, but they're dangerous now. So you can go ahead and have a candy bar. That's safe.
I think the point is you have to live your life, right? And, we can hide our heads in the sand, but I think most of us would prefer to live our lives vibrantly. I want to live my life vibrantly and to do things that are exciting and interesting and fun. And, it's not all about fun, but things that we do should help enliven us and bring us, and one of those things that we want to do is own a home. Owning a home should be something that adds to your life enjoyment. And typically when somebody owns a home, they have a mortgage. So back to the point of the conversation being life is full of risk. Banks make mortgages, securing the home as the protected asset. But sometimes things happen in life, and what happens to your loved ones when you have a mortgage on a house. And I'll let you take it away and kind of continue this conversation because you were talking about mortgage insurance.
Yeah. So I'm seeing where our internet feed may not be stable, but anyway, hopefully it will get better. I don't know if it's at my end or your end.
It looks like it's okay on my end. I'm not getting an error message here.
Okay, well, I will proceed because anyway, so you go get a mortgage, and sometimes they'll say to you, well, there's this little add-on that you can do, which is called mortgage insurance. It's not the MPI that you think of because you didn't put down enough down payment. This is different. Mortgage life insurance is what they're talking about. And so the thing that you've got to look out for with that type of life insurance is, number one, who is the beneficiary? Because if you take out a mortgage life insurance policy, many times the mortgage company is the beneficiary. So you die and they get the money, your mortgage is paid off, but maybe your spouse or whoever, if they had their way, they wouldn't have paid off that mortgage. Maybe they would have kept it. Maybe they would have rather have had the money rather than to have the mortgage paid off.
And then
So
they were
you've
the
always
ones
got
that
to,
continue to make the payments. Yeah.
yeah, you got to look out who is the beneficiary of the policy. And then the other thing is, what type of policy is it? A typical mortgage life insurance policy is something called a decreasing term policy. It means that the premium stays the same, but the amount of life insurance decreases each year. Now, there are some policies that are what's called straight line decreasing, where they'll just go down at an angle every year, and they may that decrease may not coincide with the balance of your mortgage,
Mm,
because a mortgage tends to stay and then go down.
curves. That's right.
And so it may not actually be enough to pay off your mortgage because it's a straight line decreasing term. Now, there are other decreasing term policies that are designed to follow that amortization schedule that you have with your mortgage. But either way, I don't usually recommend decreasing term life insurance. Usually you can do better with a straight level term life insurance policy.
Okay.
And when you talk about life insurance, it's a balancing act, because you got to balance your need versus the budget that you have to pay for it. And that's where a good life insurance agent can help you make a plan for that type of policy versus just something that you get on on an impulse. Kind of like when you're in 7-Eleven, you're walking around and you see something that looks good and you pick it up. May not be the best price for that item, but it was convenient, and it was a kind of a impulse decision to buy that.
And
And
when
that's
you're
the way it
buying,
is sometimes with a mortgage life insurance. It's kind of an impulse thing. It sounds like a good idea at the time.
and when you're making this decision, this is a very important decision. When you're buying a home, you're kind of confronted with a lot of choices, and one of the emotional choices that you have is to protect your spouse, protect yourself in the event of, and you get hit with this question of, would you like to have mortgage life insurance as part of your payment and so forth? Probably can be one. I'm not, you can speak to how that is set up, but yeah, you're hit with this question that is, you don't want to just instantly say no, but it is a good idea to understand all of the implications of that and not immediately jump on it and say, yeah, I have to have that through that carrier. So when this is, tell me a little bit about how the policy gets structured. What does it have to do with the mortgage? And what would your steps be to help somebody get this policy in place?
Well, the structure is really not a very complicated structure. It's just a matter of, they'll have you sign a couple extra papers, and because the approval of it is very simple, that's why the rate is probably higher than what you could get somewhere else, where you jump through some hoops to get it. The other thing to look out for, and sometimes when I'm dealing with a person, I'm reviewing their insurance, and they'll say, I've got this policy, I've got that policy. Oh, and take a look at this one. We got this one when we took out the mortgage, and I look at it, and it's accidental death only coverage.
Okay.
Okay. And so it was very inexpensive because it only covers accidental death.
Wow.
And I would say to you, well, John, if you were in a car accident and you were really hurt badly and something happened and you died 3 months later due to the car accident, is that an accidental death?
Is
And
it?
in most policies, it's not, because you didn't die right away.
Right. It's not instantaneous. It's wow.
So
Wow.
there are things to look out for. And I say to people all the time, it's very true. The things that you don't know can hurt you.
Which goes right back to living life. We got to live life, but you don't want to
But
take.
find a professional person to help you because they know the things that you don't know.
Yes, yes. Ignorance is not an excuse.
That's why I go to a doctor. I don't just prescribe things to myself. That's why I go to a lawyer because I need to close on this house and I want to make sure it's done correctly.
I think
That's
that's a
why I
good
go
reason.
to an automobile mechanic because I don't know how to change a front wheel bearing. Maybe you do, John, but I don't.
I do.
I'm going to leave that to somebody that knows what they're doing.
And that is, it's same goes with real estate. When you are choosing to buy a home, you want to work with somebody that understands the market and the process and can kind of know the pitfalls that can happen. Sometimes it goes smoothly. When it goes perfectly smoothly, we love that when that happens. And especially when it still produces the outcome that both parties are desiring. Sometimes, more often than not, real estate transactions become challenging as they evolve. And in fact,
But
right now
see,
we've got
the thing about it is, it went really smoothly because you were guiding the process. In other words,
awesome.
if you were not there,